my 2010 Panasonic KX-TG6524. This is part of what I like to call the 2010 Panasonic DECT 6.0 Plus series. This series consisted of many different base types. This, which is a messaging base in the standard form factor, a locator base in the standard form factor, a messaging base which has the handset charging in the back and the controls in the front. I call that a charger-sized base. A locator-based version of that, and there are actually two messaging bases in that style. So there's the 401X series, which is the charger-sized locator base, 4021 series, which is the charger-sized messaging base, 4031, which is the same design but has more base features like talking caller ID, and the 401121 have a different handset from the 4031. And then there's the 6531, which is this, and that comes as the 6521 or 31 series, oddly. Then the 7531, which is a charger-sized base, slightly bigger, and has this handset, the KX-TGA401. So there are four different handsets. There are five different handsets. There's the KX-TGA402, which has a display like this, but amber. It's that size, basically. Then there's the KX-TGA401, which has this display, but white backlight. Then there's the 653, which is this, amber backlight, white on black non-backlit keys. Then there's the 652, which is this, but white display backlight, silver navigator key, black on white backlit keys. And then there's the 651, which is that exact same handset, but it supports Bluetooth features on the KX-TG6524X series, which is a link-to-cell dialing base. So there's the 4011, 4021, 4031, 6511, 6521, 6531, that's this base, but this is actually a 6521 series. I'll get back to that oddity in a moment. 6541, 6581, and 7531. 6591 is unrelated to this. This is part of the 2011 series, but it uses the charger design that this uses. This phone was given to me by a friend of Mom's, not the same one who gave me the B&O phone last week. This came with 4 of these handsets, 3 of the non-glossy versions of this charger. So this was given to me with 2 handsets, but one of them broke. So then I replaced it with one of these, the KX-TGA401, which has the gloss black charger. And there are quite a few differences between these handsets. The KX-TGA402 has a software that's in between this handset and the KX-TGA101 handset, and the ringtones between all these handsets are different. KX-TGA401, 651, 652, and 653 use this handset's tones, and then the other handsets use different tones. The features are generally the same across all these models. It's basically the design of the base and the features of the handset. And that's a rare case where the base has more features than the handset it comes with. The 4021 does not have talking caller ID, but it does support message list, voicemail settings, and phonebook group settings, and phonebook erase all if you register one of these more higher-end handsets to it. So you can register this to get everything this series has to offer except talking caller ID, while the 4031 and all the answering system 65 and 75 models have talking caller ID. Then there's the 4051 series, which has, it's part of a 4031 series, but the 4053 is a 4033, but it comes with a range extender. Then there's a 4073, which is a 4023 that comes with a range extender. Very weird that the 405 corresponds to the 403 and the 407 corresponds to the 402. But that's not the only oddity with this series. The 6521 series uses a 6531 base and 653 handsets. The 6531 series also uses the 6531 base, but 652 handsets. So the higher number base gets the lower number, so the higher number series gets the lower number handsets, which is very weird. It makes sense on the 651 getting the lower number 652 handset, and then the 651 is only included with the 6581 series, but to expand any of these, you have to get the 651 if you want one that looks like this for the 65 series. Or you can get the 750, which is a direct additional for the 75 series. For the 4021 or 4011, the 401 handset is the best one for that. They don't sell the 402 separately, the 652 or 653 separately, which is weird. Then, there is an actual base called the 6521 that is used on the 6571 series. And that is only available in wine red, as they call it, a sort of burgundy color instead of black. And that has a silver navigator key on the base, and silver navigator key on the handset, and silver and black and white buttons on the handset, but they are not backlit. The handset is a 653, but with different key colors. And this is not uncommon, because we now see this on black KX-TGA401. So this silver 97 is silver with white on black backlit keys, where the foreground is backlit, but then the black with silver accents 97 handsets have black on fully backlit white keys. With that out of the way, let's dive into the features of this phone. By modern standards, this phone does not have many features, but this was a huge deal when a friend of mom's gave it to me, because this phone had many of the features that my then current neighbor's 6645 has, but not power backup, unfortunately. That would not come to my collection until a 7873. Both of these handsets have rubber grips. All of the handsets in this series, except the 402, have a rubber grip. And then they also, in 2011, released the KX-TGA401 with the KX-TG1211 series. No, 1221 series. I think there was a 1211 series as well, not to be confused with the TH1211 series from 2008. Then, in 2013, the 4221 series, and for both the 2011 and 2013, you can get the supplied handset separately. I don't know what the deal with the 2011 was. They could have just made that as a handset for the 2010. Why they made a separate base, they could have just used the 4021 base. Or why the 4021 didn't just use a 4031 base. A lot of oddities with the 2010 models with this series.
No new message.
This has the low-end version of the updated old answering system voice. So this handset is basically the beginning of Panasonic as we know it. I mean, more of the 106 from the 1061 series. But this is where we really start to see similarities to the current models. Your voicemail access, all of your basic features. And the ringtones we all know and love from this series. Silent mode, talking call ID. And on the subject of talking call ID, this has the strange call from behavior that the models with the second updated older voice has. So to do this, we're going to, in my call ID Fun IVR menu, we're going to select free and hang up. And now it's going to ring. And each have different ringtones. And I'll make a separate video of the tones for the series.
Call from.
But it gets even weirder, because if we have a call from a different name and then do this again, listen to what happens. So what it's doing is, because it says call from, it decides to mess up the call from part, and then it just puts on the last word of the previous call that it got. And it'll continue doing this as long as the next call continues to say call from as the name. Very weird. I could not do this on the models with the other voices. This is a weird one because it does not have a play button in the menu. That, I believe, is because that is where the 750 has the single multi-button. So on multi-item display handsets with 3 soft keys, you can press the single button to switch between multi-item and single item. And this is temporary. If you want to switch it permanently, you go to display setting and then display mode, and you can change it. And then oddly, deregistration shows up as deregistration. Same on my TGH-263, in fact. You cannot use the right arrow to select, which is weird. Then you have features like the message list. This also works on even the 1061. But some bases don't support it, oddly. Like the 7873 and 9582 do not support it, which is weird. Then we have the color list, where you can once again use multi and single item. And left and right to move between screens like I'd expect this series to have. For phonebook, let's take a look at Group 2, where we don't have any sensitive info. That's just my free PBX and Cell2Jack stuff. And you can also hold down left and right to move between pages quickly. Unlike my 2 soft key models, there is no delay for pressing single. Then you can do menu, and just like that, it goes back to the setting I selected. This is also why I believe the rest of these handsets have the display setting menu, except for the 402, because that's a completely different software design. But that's unnecessary because that's the only item in that submenu. Being a 2010 handset on a 2010 base, pressing speaker does not let me switch between talk and speakerphone, but if I would have registered this to a newer base, I could do that. This is not new enough to let you use the direct commands for the answering system settings, which is weird, because you can do that on many models before it, even the 5.85 DECT models. Block route number requires the code to turn it on and off. There is not that dedicated button in the menu for it. And then you can do all your voicemail settings. On these 3 soft key models, the conference call behavior is rather cool. So if we're on a call, the initiating handset has a cancel button. Press that to kick the handset off the call. So all these handsets can fit on each other's bases and chargers, but the 750 looks the best on the gloss black charger or any of the gloss black bases. So that would be the 65 series, the 6511, 6521, 6531, or 7531. So the ringtones are different. That's the selection on the handsets with this display design. So the 401, 651, 652, and 653. Then for the 750, and then the 402 basically has a combination of the tones of the 750 and the 106. I'll make a separate video of the ringtones for this series. Since I don't have a 402 yet, and I don't plan to because it's really not worth it, I'll be showing the 402's tones by using the 750 and the 106. Call screening is per handset, starting on the 2009 the 106 series and later. This is the first to have the handset bass unit selection as we know today. I don't know how the 6.4 and 7.4 series does it. Wouldn't be surprised if it's like this. This is the first to have renameable handsets since the 2006 KX-TG57 series, and that seemed like kind of an afterthought because handset name was the very last option in the initial setting menu on that one. And also, the backlight timer is different between 2010 and older and 2011 and later. So that is actually a difference according to a YouTube commenter on many of the Panasonic phone videos on YouTube, including my own. The 421 handset has the longer backlight timer we see on handsets like this, so 2011 and later, while the 402 has the shorter one like this. I would guess the 120 has the longer duration, being a 2011 model. And that one actually does rename privacy mode on-off to call sharing off-on. So you can see here, it's privacy mode off-on, but on the newer handsets, it's call sharing on-off. So call sharing off or privacy mode on, call sharing on or privacy mode off, they do the same thing. But then, the 2013 KX-TGA401 oddly went back to privacy mode on-off, instead of call sharing off-on. Very weird. And it has features like you'd expect from these models, like alarm, message alert is still here, and it's on by default. And this also has the Spanish voice and other modern features like you'd expect.
No tienes nuevos mensajes.
Now let's do a testing message from both of these. Now we're going to press the VM soft key to play this message back, and we're going to listen to it on both handsets. Oh no, actually we'll just listen to it on one, then we'll do my test message thing on the other one. On both of them.
You have one new and first.
This is a test message on the Panasonic KX-TG6524, KX-TGA653 handset on talk mode. KX-TGA653 on the speakerphone mode. Now we're going to switch to a second handset. KX-TGA750 on talk mode. KX-TGA750 on speakerphone mode.
Press 3 for quick.
So now the speakers are different on these handsets. On this one, it's the traditional speaker where when it doesn't play anything, you can still hear the hiss from it because it's on. But on this handset, and many basses, many Panasonic basses, when there's no sound, the speaker turns off or sputters or whatever it's called. Now let's listen to the test message on my system from these handsets.
This is a message. A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check with Tyler's phone testing code line.
This is also new enough to not have hang up for blind transfer, and they have not done it since then.
Check with Tyler's phone testing
I
code
think
line.
foreign models dropped that at the same time.
This is a testing message. A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. DECT.
This handset, I think, is louder than this one. Now, let's record a message into the answering system from the 106. Oh, let's put this on 2 rings first. This also has the behavior where the first ring does not follow the ring cadence for whatever reason, even phone models.
We will return your call.
Hello, I'm available now. My phone number is 2022.
One new message. Hello, I'm available.
This is the only
now.
time we get the
My
place
phone
off key,
number is
when a message is new.
2022. Saturday, 2:37 p.m. End of final message.
Hello.
This does have the erase tone that we hear on the 2020 and later models.
To erase all.
Another weird compatibility thing, which I did not remember to mention, which I forgot about, is the fact that 2011 and later handsets will say please wait when saving phone book entries, but only on a 2011 or newer base. So let's say if we save this phone book entry, it will not say please wait. But 2011 and later handsets will, but only on 2011 and later bases. It could be because the speed of phone book operations is different, so they decided not to have it do that on the older bases. I don't know. Again, this is very weird stuff here. So the menus are the same. Display mode on this handset has 2 options. This is not the first handset to have backlit white-on-black keys. That honor goes to the KX-TGA401 and KX-TGA401. So the KX-TGA401, I believe, was the first, because I don't know of any models before then that are like that. Many models, all models before then, and even white-on-black key KX-TGC and TGB models are like this, where it's not backlit. Very strange that they did not do backlit for that color scheme until 2009, 2008, but that's how they did it. And they've never done white-on-black backlit keys plus amber backlight. So that makes this handset a rare case of a DECT model in the US anyway. Oh no, actually it's pretty common, just maybe not on the DECT models in the US, to have backlit keys with an amber backlight, but this is black on fully backlit white keys. This phone also has a revolving wall mount bracket on the base. So on the bottom here, this says it's indeed a 6531 base, but the set model, which fades away often on these older phones here, used to say it's a 6524 SK. SK, I believe, meant this would have been sold at Costco. They would not have a dedicated line of SK models until 2011. So they would just put SK on regular model numbers in 2010 and the non-Bluetooth 2011s. So you can revolve the bracket counterclockwise to go from desk to wall, and then it basically creates an upside down base, and clockwise from desk to wall. And then all reversible handset DECT models have this too. So the 6631 series, the 6641 series, the TGF5 and TGF6 series all have it. There's not much else to this phone, because this is not very feature-rich as far as modern Panasonics go, because now we have features like call block pre-screening, message alert by call. Many models have Bluetooth cell phone linking, and a lot of other cool features. Another weird thing with this phone is that the bass goes silent if you're on the phone. And you can glitch it out. Very weird. They would get rid of the DECT 6 branding and talking caller ID on the 2013 models. I mean, by then, they weren't selling 5.8 gigahertz phones anymore. I think the 4321, the last 5.8 gigahertz model, stopped being sold in around 2010 or 2011. And looking on eBay recently, there are actually listings for the 6572 where the first digit of the serial number is 8. So that model was sold all the way through at least 2018. The 6591 series was sold all the way through at least 2021. So a rare case, just like the 9582 in fact, the 95 series in fact, where the first digit of the serial number rolls back to a digit it was already on, but the rest of the serial number is unique. So if it lasts more than a decade, you can't really use the first digit of the serial number to really know when that particular build came out. This is also, I believe, the first Panasonic phone ever, or at least DECT model, to have colored talk and off buttons. Talk is of course green and red and off is of course red. Exception is the KX-TGA402. The 402 stuff was positioned, I guess, as the budget model of this series. This is a middle ground, but then everything with the white display backlight and the backlit keys were the higher end stuff.